Hello,
All right.
everyone.
Hello, we are live.
Good morning. Um, Man, we are wrapping up September. It's hard to believe we're in the fall, even though it doesn't feel like fall. I,
It's like 108 outside.
I know. Oh, look at nope, no fall leaves, no crisp air.
Uh,
And both you and I have lived in those climates where we actually get to enjoy the seasons. And then you come to Arizona and our fall, if you're outside, really reflects in January.
yeah.
That's when
Oh
we
my
see like leaves
gosh.
falling, and it's just different. So, but I've been here long enough, and I still miss those season changes. And I don't know, it's something I think I reflect too, of like a new season in the, you know, weather aspect, but then it is a motivator for a new season in what do I want to do in life, right? Like that kind of
Yep.
parallel changes, motivation, goals. Those are good little milestones, calendar to life, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why every year I always take a trip to Nebraska in the fall just so I can get a little taste of the fall, but I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I just love our warm days, our
Tank tops,
tank
as we're
tops.
wearing
Yes.
them both right now.
Yes, it's
So
my favorite.
what's in Nebraska? Because I know you're from Washington.
Yeah, one of my best friends lives there, and then, as we have evolved, it's just I've become friends with a lot of his friends, and it's just a
Mm.
tradition at this point. I have to go there every year.
Well, I found out my sister is moving to Nashville next year,
Oh,
and
cool.
I haven't been, so it's a destination that's been on my list, and now I actually know that's going to happen because family's moving there. But there's a gal that I used to lived here and did her hair, but she moved outside of the Nashville area, and I'm like, that looks like perfect weather. It gets chilly and wintry, but it's not blistery cold like Minnesota. And
Mm,
I'm like, I want to go there in the fall.
there you
Although
go,
we'll be there in the
yeah.
spring for sure next year, but the fall would be just heavenly. I don't know. I just want to be able to wear a sweater or a sweatshirt and jeans, and that's enough layering. Like I don't want to be bundled like the North Face that I have
Oh,
that you
yeah,
borrowed
yeah.
when you went back to Minnesota, where I'm from. So,
Oh,
but yeah, I just thought,
agreed.
no, I just want the perfect balance. Um,
Always, always.
yeah,
The metaphor of life.
seriously, nothing extreme, people. Just a little bit of everything in
Yes,
balance.
Mother Nature.
I know. Um, but yeah, I thought I would talk about. I'm gonna just like pivot into our topic today,
Yeah,
but
let's do it.
which is another great space for balance, which is our rest days. And the value of what that looks like. And I'm in a very busy season in my work world and even in some pockets of my personal life. And I'm craving that rest. And rest
Mm.
comes in different forms. As you and I know, it's taking a rest from our workout world, taking a rest from our mental space, and trying to find what that looks like, and how to just recover in all ways. So that's what today's podcast is did someone say rest? That's the title of this one.
I love it. This is so, so important. Like, just even avoiding just burnout in life. And I want to talk a little bit too about how I learned that the hard way.
Hmm.
But what inspired you to start this topic? So work is going a little crazy, and yeah, is there any other specific times where you're like, okay, like your body kind of forced you to go into that rest state?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm a my job life is very physical, active, and it's been that way for years. And then you add in different workouts, and then getting together with friends that involve a hike, or so it's just the constant go, go, go. And physically, my body isn't in a rest space, even in my daily work life, because it's up and down, moving, um, working with customers. So there's a lot of walking in the store. And so actually, I have noticed my lower back hurting.
Mm.
And that a lot of times comes with me not, stretching. And we've had
Mhm.
stretch podcasts on that. And so it's telling me, hey, you're overdoing it. I'm doing the half marathon training program outside of our store. So we have about 25 runners who have signed up for this training, and that's adding another day of running, which is more than I would like to commit to at this stage physically for my body. And, as I'm craving rest time, to myself, this just inspired me because physically my body's telling me I'm doing a lot right now. And so
Mm.
that's a way to check in with yourself when maybe you're not getting the right sleep, or different signs for you to kind of tune into of what does that rest look like? What is your body asking for? And how do I give it? How do I carve that time out? Tell me about your season that you had your aha rest moment.
Oh my gosh, I had a time last or 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. I This one really stands out to me when I was going through my MCAT. I had like 3 jobs. I was doing so many things at once, way too many things. And I was only sleeping 4 hours.
Mm,
And I had just taken a new job with a company called Nudge, which I loved. We would go to like different running events and hand out free samples of it. And so
mm,
uh, I specifically remember it was the night before a an event that we were doing at I think Five Star Fitness in Old Town, and uh, I in the middle of the night, my foot just had the worst pain that I've ever experienced in my whole life, and I just
like a Charlie horse, or
it
not
wasn't
even
a
that?
cramp. It was just like
Mm,
I seriously all like basically what I when I did my research and I was like, what could this be? It's like overuse. That was it.
wow.
And so oh my gosh, and I was just on my feet 24/7 for that time that I was awake. And so I just laid there and just like cried like a baby in a fetal position. And I was like trying
Mm,
everything to elevate it, ice it, like nothing was working. It was just like, okay, this is a sign. Like my body's literally telling me, like, you need to just lay here and just be and
mhm.
like lay with your thoughts. And I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. So I was just bedlocked and I'm like, all right, this is what needs to happen right now. And it just really showed me like, okay, like I can't live like this. It's not sustainable. No one can
Mhm.
perform their best if they're not taking that rest time. So, yeah, I'm excited to dive into this.
I think I mean, you and we both had a physical um, side effect of
Mhm.
our, whether it was stress or a combination of stress and go, go, go nonstop. And I think a lot of us out there, and not everybody, but there are often times we have a physical thing going on that is a reflection of our uh, lack of self-care in that
Mhm.
particular season. And I mean, I think, oh my gosh, how many weeks have I been grinding, whether it's mentally or physically grinding, to where it's caught up to me.
Mhm.
And so that's what we're going to talk about, the different times to rest and how to implement rest and the whys behind the value of giving your body rest. And we often talk on here like working out and the importance of muscle recovery. And so that's a big one that you and I have both preached on in past episodes, but the value behind that is it's just giving your time. So we'll start with muscle recovery. We'll just kind of tackle a few of these topics. But muscle recovery, right? Because we're in the gym or hiking or biking. I mean, even yoga, right? There's different yoga classes that have a lot of strength training going on within, and it's just your body weight, but that in itself needs that recovery. And so the importance behind giving yourself that time to rest is to repair those muscles and the muscle fibers. And just when we work out, we break them down. And if you could like see into our muscles as we're working out, you would see the little tiny tears that are going on as you're building. And then recovery comes with fueling it with protein, as we've chatted in the past, why it's good to put protein at the back end of your workout as instead of the front end. But that goes back in and nourishes and replens the muscles. And so a huge reason why. Were you going to say something, Claire?
So especially with like weight training or anything like that, people will be like, oh, I don't need a rest day, I'm fine. But it's like, no, you're building up all of this lactic acid in your muscles. And in order to release the waste in your body, you have to be able to take the rest time in between. And I actually was just telling someone this yesterday because she's getting back into strength training. And she was saying like, because I had split her days up because she was like, I want 5 days. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to secretly not give you 5 days of strength training. So I split it up and I added in a full day of just an active rest day and like an active recovery day. And
what does that look like, Claire? So what is that? I mean, we know, but they may not understand what active recovery looks like.
So active recovery can look like a lot of different things. For her, she just wanted a 15-minute routine to do every day. So one thing that I think is really, really valuable, especially in strength training, is doing an active recovery where you're doing mobility exercises, where you're still moving your muscles, and it allows you to get away from any possible injuries from your muscles being so tight from the day before or a couple days before, because you can have that delayed onset of muscle soreness, and your muscles get really tightened during that, which means that the smallest things, such as bending down to tie your shoe, or just anything really where you're like bending over or reaching for something.
Reaching. I was just going to say, reaching.
And that can quickly get you injured. You're going to pull a muscle if you're not conditioning yourself outside of that to like stretch those muscles and do something active. Active recovery could look like a walk. It could look like just some mobility exercises. So for her, or even foam rolling. So for her,
it's really low. It's low impact.
Low impact. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's movement involved. It's not just like static stretching or anything. It's more just, which it could be, but the best way is to do some type of movement, dynamics, something in there where you're increasing the circulation, because that's what's going to help break down that waste, let go of the lactic acid, and break down everything that's built up in the intense weight training or anything like that. So, and it helps you rebuild those muscles in the off time, because that's when the true growth really happens. So for her, I put in a bunch of like dynamic stretches. So that could be like going down and doing a hip flexor stretch and then moving into a different position, like really, really slowly, and just slowly stretching more and more as you're moving, maybe doing some like arm circles in there, get that blood flow going. And it was funny because she had been doing that for 2 weeks now when we met, and she was like, holy cow, I looked at that and I said, I don't need that. I don't need the recovery. And then I did it and I was like, oh my gosh, I needed that so bad. And I'm like, yes, I'm so glad that like she found the value in it.
Well, and yesterday I had I did an active recovery day. Well, let me take that back because I did have run club last night, but normally on Wednesdays I do a workout, 20-minute workout because I know I'm going to run later, but I decided I'm just going to do a mobility because I was listening to my back, and 10 minutes through the Peloton app. I picked mobility, and I could feel strength even though it was very low key, heart rate was down. I could feel those movements of stretch and strength coming together, and I actually felt okay. I'm this was good. I'm doing what my body needs, and it was just 10 minutes. It's not anything, like a 40-minute active recovery, but that 10-minute mobility was enough to feel like rejuvenated and taking time to love on the muscles. Um and so yeah, I mean, we touched on two topics right there of why rest is important, which is muscle recovery and reducing any risk of injury and the value behind the repair that your body needs. And then another one is not overtraining. So preventing yourself from overtraining and taking those rest days. We have a guest. If you're not watching, Claire's cat has arrived.
You
Tail
never
and
know when he's
all.
gonna show up with his butt in my face.
I have one of my 3 dogs in here with me, but she loves to hide and curl up under this table. Um, but
Well, she can't
yeah,
jump on the counter.
yeah, no, nope, nope. You literally wouldn't see me at her 45-pound weight. But yeah, so preventing the constant working out, and it is gonna sorry, I'm like distracted because there's the light is
Sorry.
coming through. No, it's through my blinds, so I'm getting like little um nuggets of light here shining in stripes now across my face shortly. But anyways, just burning out is when you overdo things, whether it's mentally or physically. The fatigue is just going to set in, and you're not alert, right? Your body is struggling to maintain a good workout in your movements. And it happens. The next thing you know, you've been doing something 7 days in a row, whether it's even helping someone move, right? Like those other outside of the box things you're on the go, and you're pushing your body hard, which is where, again, injury can take place. And so it's just something to be mindful of, is to just not overwork
Yeah,
yourself.
with the overtraining too, I think this comes with the burnout aspect where uh this what one thing that comes to mind is like mentally getting burnt out on even like the
Mhm.
workouts, on work related things, anything like that. Like, how do you know when you're burnt out? I mean, everyone's hit this point. It's like you lose the motivation. You don't want to do
Mhm.
it. You know, it's like
You're right.
I
Motivation. Mhm.
I can think of many times where like I'm starting to hit the burnout and I don't want to do something that normally I would love to do, and it tells me like, okay, I need to sit back and step away from this for a little bit
Mhm.
so I can get back to enjoying that thing that I normally would enjoy, but I'm doing too much.
Right. Well, and I was going to say, a thought too, a perspective on the burnout or the injury, because those can come hand in hand, right? Is when you take a couple days off and you allow your body to heal and recover, that's better than having an injury that's going to take you 4 to 6 weeks.
Mhm. Oh,
So,
yeah.
so it's like, okay, I don't want to be out of commission for,
If you're lucky,
yeah,
4 to
to,
6 weeks.
right, because you're going to have to merge back in to those movements. You can't go full force coming out of an injury. So
So as you're
I would rather
avoiding
take a couple
losing
days off.
you're trying to, like, avoid losing your gains by, like, not taking the break, and instead you end up setting yourself back not only 4 to 6 weeks, but even longer than that getting back into it, or God forbid you have a worse injury that takes longer than 4 to 6 weeks, but yeah, it's so
Yeah.
true. It's like this actually people think, like, rest days hold them back, but it actually,
Mhm.
like, expedites your
Mhm.
training.
And the other thing too, I've heard a handful of people tell me that it's like, well, I have to work out every day because it's the only way that I'll keep working out.
Mm.
And that's I've wrestled with how to approach that with clients or people who've just share where they're at in their journey with me. And it's like, well, why is it all or nothing? And again,
Mhm.
that's where we come together in balance. Like that's creating a lifestyle, not this surge of lifestyle change that's not obtainable. And the burnout comes with that because physically you can't keep up with that. So
Mhm.
what's that block for yourself to say, man, if I take a rest day, that's the pivotal moment that I'm not going to work out the following day? Like, what is
Yes.
that block happening? And that's just something you got to reflect in within yourself and dig a little deeper and say, the all and nothing is there's something that's creating that thought process.
Yeah, digging into that. But I mean, and especially like starting off, it is
Mhm.
good to still have that habit, but I usually tell people like don't do nothing on your rest day. I think that's like the worst thing that
Yeah,
you can do.
walk.
Walk. Like that's
Yeah.
it. That's all you have to do. It does you don't need
Mhm.
to like say, "Oh, I'm not going to work out tomorrow at all," but you're still
Mhm.
going to do something. And so whether that's a yoga routine, a really low intensity one, or like that could just be like a round of stretches basically, or go on a walk. It's really like it that really is the best thing. Get outside,
Yeah.
go on a walk because it's gonna like I notice if I take an actual rest day without moving, I'm in so much more pain than if I was to get up, go on a 30-minute walk. And then it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I moved around the it actually like helps your soreness go away faster if you're moving that around.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. Um, and we've tapped a little bit on this, whether it's in these podcasts or in this one, but it's just another one is improving your performance. So when you take a step back and you just walk and have that a form of active recovery or a rest day with small intensity movements, um, your performance is going to be better because you have time to recover. And as we mentioned in that the value behind that is not just muscle repair and the fibers coming together, but it's improving your performance, and it's replenishing your energy that the glycogen is stored, which is sugar is the other name for glycogen. And that allows you to return back to your workouts with that energy and endurance to perform in whatever you're choosing. So um yeah, I mean, our bodies are we talk about sugars, and in this case this is a valuable energy source that your body's producing to give you that better showing up better in your gym or your Pilates class or bar or whatever your go-to is. You're ready to rock and come in stronger.
Exactly. Very important.
Do you have a favorite? What does your rest day look like when you come in and you choose a rest with movement? Do you have a go-to that you do weekly, Claire?
Yeah, I generally will do sorry. I'll do zone 2 training. So I'll just do, which is just a low intensity steady state training where you could still have a conversation with someone. So I'll
Mhm.
generally do just 30 minutes of that, and then which I do incline on the treadmill usually, but now that it's warmer out, I'll probably do something outside, which will be nice.
Mhm.
But I do that, and then I love to just come back, do like a 10-15 minute just yoga flow and some foam rolling. I love foam
Mm.
rolling. And so that has really helped my recovery. And then on top of that, uh, I love doing contrast therapy, so I'll do sauna, and cold plunge, just back and forth. So I'll just do like 10 minutes in the sauna, 2 minutes in the
Mhm.
cold plunge, and just go back and forth for a little bit, and that feels really good. So, cold plunge is so good for recovery, just reducing that inflammation. Once I started doing
Mhm.
that, it expedited even my rest days. Like I wasn't getting that delayed onset muscle soreness as much. Uh,
Mhm.
it's seriously been a big game changer.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think, finding those and again, like, it's outside the box. It's not rest sitting on the couch binging on Netflix. Not that that's not bad, because we do need that too every now and then. And that's a good way to just slow it down, but there's the cold plunge is a form of a rest day, the sauna and whatever other things that are outside of stretching or mobility that we're used to going to, that you can do it even on a chill bike ride in your neighborhood, which is I
Mhm.
enjoy 15 minutes of that, once or twice a week. It's nice, especially that our weather is low hundreds.
Yes,
um,
finally.
and the sun is not as intense, but yeah, it's been nice to for myself to say I want to do something different. And it's a great way to try something different and mix it up
Absolutely.
too.
Get creative
So,
with it. What do you normally do?
well, bike ride has kind of been the more recent thing, and I can get about 20 minutes of that in easily before I need a new bike seat. So it's like, okay, my buns are hurting. Um, and it's funny because it's like a cruiser bike, and I'm like, who built this seat for a cruiser bike? Because there's no cruising with this thing. So, but yeah, bike riding, and I've been wanting to go on walks, and there's a route I used to do like regularly, and I want to pick that back up because I there's some audio things I would want to listen to, and that helps me recover. And physically, it's nice to just walk and like stretching, mobility, bringing that stuff back too. So it's peaceful. There are things that are peaceful, I think, is what
Yeah.
I'm not counting. I'm not, I think in our workout world we're counting and we're doing those reps, and our brain isn't really relaxing, which is part of our next pivot, is just that mental recovery.
Mhm.
And taking time to mentally decompress and setting that aside. And there's a ton of apps that allow us to do meditation, sounds, and or even guided, where it just helps you with your breathing, your breath work. But where I can really disconnect from life mentally, because my brain is always going, um, is those bike rides that allow me to be in the moment and present instead of counting
Mhm.
and checking the clock, got to wrap this up before my next thing. And Claire and I both can attest to our power packed schedules on the daily.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and we're managing to fit it all in, and um, but yet we find that time to really say, this is for me, this is my space to love on myself and recover, not just physically but mentally. And we've done some podcasts in last season and a few in this season that have kind of pushed into that space of mental recovery. So, um, do you have go-tos for your mental right now, what you lean into for mental
Yeah,
recovery?
I love meditations, just quick guided meditations. So I'll usually do like a
Mhm.
15-minute one, 10 to 15 minutes, and then uh cold plunge, honestly, it builds up my mental resilience and
Mhm.
it clears my mind. I have so much clarity after I do that. And so I love to do that because it's such a challenge. And once I'm done, I just feel like I can conquer anything. And I just like, okay,
Mhm.
whatever was like stressing me out or going on in my world externally, like it just feels like it doesn't really matter that much anymore.
Mhm.
Not necessarily with everything, but there's like little things you hold on to, you know. So that's one of the things. And then I love journaling because if I'm going through something, I just word dump. I just start writing
Mhm.
just about whatever's going on, what I want the outcome to be, just like get it out on paper. You can even do this with an audio recording or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Like sometimes you just want to say it out loud. Like,
Mhm.
I am going through this and it sucks and I know it's going to be okay, but I just need like an outlet. You know, everyone needs an
Yeah.
outlet. So even if you're
Mhm.
just pretending you're having a conversation with that person, you know, maybe there's someone that you need to have a chat with, like just say it because you might end up like while you're saying it just openly, freely with no one on the other end of it, you might like have
Mhm.
a realization like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that I was thinking that way, or oh my gosh, I didn't even
Yeah.
think about it like that, you know? So that's something that I love doing.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. I'm an Audible processor, but I've been stepping into the writing and the journaling and allowing that to just dump into that space, and I actually don't even go back and read it. My That isn't the purpose to like reopen that, it's to just dump it. It's one thing if you're
Exactly.
journaling for goals, right? But if you're emotionally dumping onto the page, leave it
Mhm.
there. Don't
Yeah, yeah.
like open it because it's a part of
Rip
like
it
you
up.
processed it and let it go. Um, Another one thing I've been doing is because I'm chatting with so many people in community with 3 different run clubs, um, and my workspace, I've been disconnecting in the car and not chatting on my Marco Polo, which is catching up with girlfriends, but
Mm.
giving my time in the car to just put on music or silence because my environments every day are filled with amazing chatter, but it's still a lot. And
Oh.
to disconnect and have really force myself to be quiet when
Mhm.
I'm used to a world of buzzing around me. So, uh, yeah, that's another one for me.
I love that because that actually is so key, that I forgot about. Like, I used to do that all the time, like, just because I was listening to a podcast and they were saying, like when you get in the car, you're playing music, you get somewhere, and then you're having to be lit up all the time. And
Mhm,
so like even there's so many like dopamine releases with all of that. Whereas
mhm,
when you're just sitting silent, it does allow you to mentally recover because it's not healthy to constantly like you get home, you turn the TV on, you get in the car, you turn music
mhm.
on. Like you're never actually without a
You're
dopamine hit.
stimulated.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, the
exactly.
stimulation constantly. Yeah, and I'll target a couple more real quick, but those rest days, they boost your immune system. They allow you to recover in that aspect. And as we're coming into flu season and the holidays, and a lot of our go will ramp even more than what it's currently at. Is remembering to just rest, and keep your body healthy through this uh, the sickness seasons, and makes a difference for sure. And then hormonal balance. I've chatted on here a ton of times just about how that high intensity workouts and go actually does break down your adrenals. And then therefore, for me personally, it impacts my thyroid. So it's those underlying things we don't really see. It's not a physical thing in my back, but it is something when I go to get blood work, it does ramp. And there was about 6 months where my natural path was like no high intensity. And I had to
Mhm.
do low impact stretching, just simple strength training, and to help keep that heart rate down because that spikes the adrenals and then your body's working harder. And then it impacted my
Mm.
thyroid. And I still juggle with that because naturally, I love being active and I like to go on
Mhm.
hikes and I'm drawn to things in general, but they come with increased, um, you know, the heart rate up. And so it is bringing it back and keeping the hormones in balance. And of course, if you have a dramatic weight loss, that can change your period cycles. If you have a weight gain, that can change your period cycles. So those are all different things that stress impacts our hormones and hair loss and all of that stuff. So it's again balance and taking that time for yourself to bring it back in. So um but yeah, that's the thoughts for the day, and hopefully you remember to rest. I know that's the season I'm in that's why I did the podcast because I need to be reminded. Like,
Is that your action by
yeah.
Ange?
Yeah, action by Ange is find my rest moments every day. Like it's literally something I'm intentional every day right now because of how I have 18-hour days. And it's finding that those moments in between that give back to me, that give me life. And
Yeah.
clarification, what do you got for us, Claire?
Clarification is your rest day can look so many different ways. You get to do
Mhm.
whatever you want for that rest day. Like there's no rules. Whatever you want that can be a little bit of movement and makes you feel good.
That's right. Well, thank you for all your input, Claire, and we hope our listeners have walked away with some good nuggets to rest and recover.
Absolutely. This was awesome. Thank you so much, Ange, and everyone. Have a great Monday.
We'll see ya.